Kaja Israel, Kabaiki, Kaja Ethiopia, Sudan, Wajashon. Kaja Ikushima, Wanime Kona, Wajashon. So Timbuktu, Ghana, Mali, Sumanguru, Wajashon. Wajake, Wajashon. Manchestaki, Sumanguru, walk where you get, what you're shown. What's that to do,
Tap said. Oh, it was a more. My baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. Wait, one is. Baby, will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap send got me covered. For if you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through Tap Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download Tap Send. Okay? But also, remember the day when I receive my money, the other time I would challenge, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Good evening. Welcome to tonight's edition of the Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum. My name is Nana Kwesi the First, Atrumahine of Ahanta Traditional Area in the Diaspora and Chairman of Ghana Union. Tonight we are here. First of all, my apologies to our loyal audience who have been waiting, I believe, for 17 minutes. It's never happened. We don't intend for it to be the case. We had serious technical issues as we try to come on. So please, we are sorry, but thank you for staying through with us. And I believe by the time you go, you forgive us for 17-minute wait. Tonight, we are here to talk about interstate succession law, wills and probate. I'm sure you and I, from where we come from, if not directly, indirectly, we have had to endure circumstances where our families sadly have left and we have to battle with other families over matters that we never once thought of. And so tonight, as part of our duty of care to you, to the community, Ghana Union UK, the Ghana Nurses Association UK, the Western Region Association of Nurses UK, and the Ghanaian Nightingale Association UK wish to bring to you information free of charge from an expert, somebody who has spent time, studied, and practiced in law on these areas from Ghana, right from the harbor city of Takoradi, to come and tell us what it is that we need to know. We are thankful to Tap Send for bringing us this live televised program on Zoom, Facebook, and of course, YouTube, and with Omega Live. We are grateful to Ghana High Commission for their endorsement. But as we have already spent some time, I wouldn't want to go too much detail. You will not be allowed to share your screen, and you will be muted throughout the session until our expert is finished. Let me give you a few introductions about the man talking to us this evening. He is a graduate of University of Ghana with an LLM in 1989. A barrister and solicitor license since 1991. He has, as part of his legal practice, worked with Busum Chisam Associate in Takoradi. He is now the chief executive and, of course, a lawyer who has been in all the many courts that we have on our land since 1997 to date. He has practiced for 32 years so far. And of course, part of his work, he has also understudied oil and gas at the University of Aberdeen in the United Kingdom. He is a consultant for over 20 companies across Ghana, a married man of 4 children, and of course, Christian with his faith with the Church of Pentecost, if he will help others to know where he stands. Without much ado, audience, I bring to you tonight lawyer Ben Akajesi, a practicing lawyer, a barrister at law, a solicitor, and of course, my own personal lawyer in Ghana. Lawyer, good evening. Welcome to Ghanaian Community Awareness Forum. It is a pleasure to have you. Please take over so that you can expand on what we are talking about. We are going to talk about interstate succession law, wills, and probate. Oh, I hope your line is off. Yes, okay.
Thank you, Nana.
You go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Nana, for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
The topic is very, very broad. And one topic, the interstate succession law alone, is a whole 3-hour talk before we talk about wills and probate. But I don't know the number of hours that you have allotted for this program. But
tonight we have 2 hours. You are the only speaker. If you need to spend half an hour on one main area, which is the interstate, and then we can take a break and come back to wills and probate, so that the audience too can have about 30 minutes to ask you questions and answers, at least.
Very well. Very well. Interstate succession law in Ghana was promulgated in 1985, June. And it is interesting to note that what was the stage before this interstate succession law was promulgated? The stage was that, more particularly those from the Akan community, where we go by the matrilineal inheritance, no matter how many properties, landed or movables that one lives upon it, everything will go to the extended family of the demise or the deceased person. So if we built 2 houses, 3 houses, that if you Kuma, Anaji, and number 3, all those houses, the children and the spouse have nothing to gain from it. It was so bad, so obnoxious and unconscionable. So the law developed it to the point that now you can live in the house. If I say you, I mean, normally I take it from the supposition that women will want men to die and leave everything for them. So let's just go on that assumption. That is biblical. Women like properties, and it is biblical, including my wife and my mother. Is also a woman. So I'll go on that tangent. You men will die and everything. So when the man who built the house or houses die, he has nothing. The children have nothing. They will come and tell the children that you are to go to your own house. So they will take everything. The family, extended family members will take everything. So they found out that that law was so bad. So in June 1985, PNBC law 111 was promulgated. And prior to that, too, if you want to get something from the deceased husband, unless your marriage had been registered under the ordinance, that one, you, the wife, and the children will have a portion of the properties based upon the marriage ordinance. But if your marriage has not been registered under the ordinance, you will never get anything when your husband or your dad dies. So this law is one to state that if you do not have a will, this law is applicable to those who died without a will, and or who died with a will covering some part of the properties, but other part was not covered by the will. Vehicles, 10 properties, and under your will, you only gave out 5 of them, and we did not include what you call residuary clause. It means that 5 properties that you never mention them in the will be covered by Chinese law 111. That is the interstate succession law. That is the position. Now, the laws came into effect in June 1985. So those who are listening to me, please, if your dad died even up to 13th June 1985, you cannot come under this law. It started on the 15th of June 1985. That means when the man died, everything will go to the family of the man. But after 15th of okay, into effect. And what did this law exactly do to help assuage that obnoxious consequences upon the demise of the husband? Number one, all the household charters upon the demise of the man, as I've already told you, those household charters will be for the serving spouse and child or children. When we spouse, it is either a man or woman, but I'm just frustrating myself that we men will die and leave the women. So if I say men, the whole thing is spouse. So if the household charter includes furniture, clothing, all those things are meant for the surviving spouse and surviving children or child. If the person has one house only, that one house too is also for the surviving spouse and child or children. And if they say spouse here, spouse means in terms of the man dying, the man may marry more than one person. So in Ghana, we agree to the polygamous marriage relationship. So if there are 3 wives, the 3 wives will share together with the children, the one house, and then the household charters. Good. If the person has more than one house, the surviving spouse and the children will have the option to choose which of the houses they will want to use as the matrimonial home. So if you and I, Nana, you know that Takrade, you have a house in the Fiokuma house, you have a soil building at Nomare, which contains about 60 rooms, and you have another one at, let's say, Anaji, which is about 10 rooms. Obviously, the spouse and the children will decide to choose the one at number 3, which contains 60 rooms. Then the 2 shall be shared as follows. 1, 3/16. The whole thing will be classified into fraction, 16 parts. 3/16 will be given to the surviving spouse. So if the man married about 4 wives, it is for the 4 wives. 3/16 will be given to the 4 wives. If it is 1 wife, 3/16 will be given to that 1 wife. Then 9/16 will be given to surviving children. So these children too, they are the children that the deceased left behind. So long as the child is deemed to be the father of the deceased person, whether he was living with them, living at the matrimonial home prior to the death of the person, there must be evidence that this is a child of the man. He has the same and equal share of the children who were living with a man, who were ironing his dress, polishing his shoe, and other things. So it does all.
We are having severe network issues. So I hope my audience will bear with me. As you can see, we are having issues. The topic is very interesting. So if you are not suffering from data, I would say please don't be disheartened and go, because this topic might be something that will help you secure something better for those you love most. I am hoping that lawyer will be making an effort to join us soon. But unfortunately, it's not in our hand. It's one of the issues we've been dealing with even before we started. Ghana nsuo tɔ kakra na biribiara atija. So please bear with me. Now we can have one advert through just to keep people going. If our team can put through BWF solicitors, if you do have it, just show people that in case you need to go somewhere for legal advice on anything, we have a community lawyer who has and continue to be somebody that helps a lot of people come out of situation here in UK. Bernard, Owusu, and co-solicitors in Seven Sisters. We will be back with you. If you don't have issues with your data, please bear with us.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF solicitors. BWF solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 AM to 6 PM. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Welcome back. Do we have lawyer JC with us? Yes, thank God for that. Lawyer, the line I know is giving you a lot of issues, but we are keen to hear your expertise on the matter. So our audience are pledged to stay with us no matter what. So please go ahead. And if you can position yourself somewhere where you know your network will be a bit stable. I know it's not in your hand, but yes, please take over.
Very well, thanks, Nana. So when the person takes the matrimonial home and the chattels, that is household chattels, the rest is called residue. The rest of the properties are termed as residue. And the residue is what I have already said, that it is shared total of 3/4 for the surviving spouse and children, 1/4 for the family. And if I say the family, I'm talking about the extended family. If the parents are alive, 1/8. If the parents are dead, their portion will go to the family. Now, if the person is survived by only the spouse, the first one is when the person died, leaving spouse or spouse and children or child. That is the 316 916 1818. But when the person is survived only by spouse only, it is shared as follows: 1/2 to the surviving spouse, 1/4, 1/4 to the surviving parent, and 1/4 to the customary successor by customary law. Where there's no surviving parent, 1/2 of the residue will go to the customary successor or the family. Where the intestate is survived by child only, that is no wife, then the intestate is survived by parent, not by only. So when a person is survived only by child only, that is, there's no wife, it is shared as follows: 3/4 will be given to the surviving spouse or children, and then 1/4, 1/8 to the surviving parents, if any, and 1/8 to the customary successor. If the parents are not alive, then the 1/8 will go to the family. So if the person is survived by child or children only, no wife, I'm restricting the spouse to wife, then the children will have 3/4 of the residue. If the intestate is survived by parent only, that is, he has no wife, he has no child, but his parents are alive, it is 3/4 to the parents, and then the remaining 1/4 shall devolve into the accordance with customary law, that is, the customary successor will take it. And where the residue, the customary law is inapplicable, then it will be devolved onto the state. And what is that referable to? Imagine those who came from Liberia during the Liberia crisis. They came and lived in Ghana. When they came, they did not associate themselves with any family links here in Ghana. He didn't join any of the families in Ghana, like all those type of families in Ghana. But he lived independently. Nobody knows where he lives. He has no link in Liberia either. Such a person, when he has a property, it goes to the government. So imagine that person has a building in Buduburam, the district assembly in Buduburam, where they were living, will take over that property because he is not under the customary law of Ghana. That is where that person does not belong to any of the customary lineages and background, ethnic background, or he didn't join any of the families here in Ghana. So where the intestate is survived neither by spouse, nor parent, nor child, the intestate is not survived by a spouse, a child, or parent, or then the whole thing will go into the customary successor, but that will go to the customary law, because he has no child, he has no wife, and he has no parent. So the extended family members or the customary people will take it. And where there's nothing like that, as Ophelia said, the property will devolve to the Republic of Ghana. Imagine a person is a Liberian, he has no child, he has no wife, he has no links, he didn't join any family in Ghana. That property belongs to the Republic of Ghana. Now, where the estate, if you say estate, you are talking about the properties, the value does not exceed those days 50,000 Ghana cedis, then the residue shall not be shared. It shall not be shared. It shall be added to both the spouse and the children. I must remark that this law is currently in Parliament for amendment and re-execution. So they intend to make a lot of changes, but for now, that is the law that is prevailing. And then, when the portion is shared, it is presumed that Survivorship will be the order of the day. That is where the spouses die in circumstances that it will be difficult to know among them who died earlier, or they call it simultaneous death. The purpose of this side is that the deceased will be deemed, the one who has the property will be deemed to have died earlier, before the person or the children or the wife inherited it before she also died, or they also died. Let's call it, they call it presumption against survivorship. If the intestate who has predeceased the intestate, if the child of the intestate has predeceased the intestate and is survived by a child, that or the grandchild will be entitled to the portion that will have been given to the child if he had not predeceased his father. For example, Kofi has 4 children. One of the children died before Kofi, whilst Kofi was alive. Meanwhile, Kofi had about 5 buildings. Kofi, who died, had 2 children. So the portion of Kofi, if the man had died for him to have enjoyed, it will be given to the children or the grandchildren of the intestate person. So that is that. And then prohibition of rejection of spouses. Here is so important. Unlike those days, when the person died, they will come and ask all the children and the wife to leave the house and surrender the keys, and they will ask the person, if the person has a farm, don't go to the farm, all those things. So it is not permissible under this law. So where the matrimonial house or matrimonial home is the self-acquired property of the deceased, the matrimonial home is rented property unless the rejection is pursuant to court order. Nobody can do that. Nobody can tell the family, i.e. the children and the surviving spouse, that they should leave the house. And what is important here is the offenses against the spouse and entitled persons. Section 17, I always emphasize this point. And it is clearly that if the person dies and the properties have not been distributed, it is unlawful for any member of the deceased family members to come and say that, don't go here, bring the car keys, don't go to this farm, don't enter this room. No. When anybody does that, you commit an offense. You report it to the police, and on its conviction, you commit an offense, and it's going to, when it's convicted, a minimum fine of 2.5 penalty units, not exceeding 250 penalty units, or a term of imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or both. It means that if somebody dies and the members of the family will come and say, hey, bring the key, you don't go to this farm, bring the car key, bring the door key or house key, report that person to the police. When that person is convicted, he will go into prison for a term not exceeding less than 1 year. So that is what this law in sum tries to do. And when they say a child under this law means the natural biological child or a person who has been adopted by the person who has died, or a person who has been recognized that he depended all his life on the person who has died, the intestate. That is the child. So if somebody is not a biological child of a deceased person, but that person's destiny is determined or inclined or is intertwined with the destiny of that man, it is the fact that he is not a biological child. That child will be interpreted to be a child, and he's going to get the same portion as the biological child. And if you talk about parents, we're talking about the natural mother and father. It is not the successor of the person's natural father or mother. So parent here is the uterine one. And this, it means that it is the law that will prevail. Whether your marriage is under the traditional marriage or under the ordinance. Initially, as I said, you wouldn't get anything from a marriage you die intestate when the marriage has been registered under the ordinance. But now it has been abolished. It has been abolished. So you can get everything by this law, whether your marriage is registered or not. However, I must remark that there must be a legal marriage, whether custom or by ordinance. The number of years that you have lived with a partner cannot crystallize to become a marriage. And I have said that the concubinage period cannot crystallize to become a marriage. If you have lived with a person for 20 years, but you have not performed the custom that it demands according to the traditional area that the person is from, or you have not registered it under the ordinance, then irrespective of the fact that the man styles you as the wife, he goes out with you as a wife, he introduces you as a wife, but there is no evidence that indeed you are a wife. You can't come under this law. A concubine, no matter how long you have lived with the person, cannot crystallize into marriage for you to come and get anything. However, as for a child, if the man is the type of hit-and-run man who has about 20 children in every city that he goes, that children, if there's evidence that children are from the man's lions, that's it. The child is entitled to get the properties of the deceased man. That ends the intestate succession law in sum. Now, I will leave this. I will expect that you will give me the fair direction whether I should continue with the laws or there should be the questions here, and then when it's answered,
if you can carry on with the wills whilst the network still, or in wills or probate, whichever is easier for you to start with. The will is governed by the Wills Act of Ghana, Act 360. But I must say that many people have some feelings and apprehension that wills are not meant for people who believe in God, in quote, worldly things. But I want to take you through that will murder in the world, even made a will. And that person is called Cain. So we can get this from the Bible that wills are clear in the Bible. And when you read we'll be back with you in a few seconds as we await the lawyer to return. Forgive us because the situation is not in our hands entirely. But we'll make our best efforts to return. Please, those who have internet free broadband to be on TikTok and everything else, please stay, because this is more important. We'll be back. Thank you.
Tap said. Oh, I was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. Wait, one is baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through tap send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TapTapSend now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TapTapSend. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other tell the world you channel, like my view, no, hey, you crazy.
Download TapTapSend now on Google Play and App Store. TapTapSend, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Welcome back. I'm not sure if our speaker is back on now. Is he on? Paul, is lawyer back on? I'm trying to see. Okay, he's back. Please, audience, I apologize. It is a network issue. As you can see, this lawyer has been in court all day and he's returned to his office and making effort to share information with us. So bear with us. We are trying our best to get the information to you. You should also be aware that it's not every UK lawyer that has jurisdiction to advise you on matters in Ghana. Because UK law and Ghana law, yes, there are similarities, but you need to re-qualify over there. So if you've been to any lawyer who is telling you, I can, your house or property in Ghana, X, Y, and Z, not all of them are qualified. So when we get a Ghanaian expert, 32 years of experience, aiming to share knowledge, I believe you will understand that we need to give a bit of time to understand what is happening. It's a purely network issue, nothing more than experience or expertise. So we've got our lawyer back, and he's going to continue on either wills or probate. I think he started on wills. So lawyer, please take over. Then we'll take a few minute break and we'll come back to question and answers. Is he here? Okay. Thank you, lawyer. Can you hear me? I'm sure he's trying his best to join us. Yes. Lawyer, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay. If you can continue, please.
I can hear
Yes,
you now.
please continue.
Hello, I can hear you
Okay,
now.
go ahead.
Okay. So
Lawyer, you may want to unmute yourself. Yes, thank you.
I'm saying that will is biblical. It has its root from the Bible. And I want you to take notes so that when you go to your homes, you can read them. The first will was made in Genesis chapter 4, verse 17. Before the second one was in Genesis 49, 1 to 28. And a litany of biblical quotations of a will. So the first thing is that under the Ghana law, the will is regulated by the Wills Act, Act 360. It was promulgated in 1971. And under this will, anybody who is above 18 years can make a will. And the condition for one making a will is that the person must have, in Latin, where they call it compos mentis. His mental faculties will be working. It shouldn't be somebody who has some impairment in his mental capacities, or such that he does not understand what we're doing. So if a person of sound mind, you can make a will when he's 18 years. However, if somebody is less than 18 years, you can also make a will. And that person who can be of that category should be an armed forces, members of the armed forces. If you're in the armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, and you are less than 18 years, you can make a will. That's the exception to the general age condition of 18 years and above, 18 years plus. But if somebody is less than 18 years and is a member of the armed forces, he can make a will. And a will is to devise your personal properties to a named, identifiable entity or person. A will is the device of one's personal property to a named or described, identifiable entity or person. So if you have a property which is not yours, you can't will it out. If the property is jointly owned by you and some other person, you can say my property. You only say my part's property, that part is willed out. You can't will everything out. If you happen to be a chief and you have inherited some properties of the stew or of the family, and you hello, are you hearing me?
Yes, you're back now. Thank you. If you can unmute yourself, please. Please unmute yourself. Okay. I want to welcome onto the platform our esteemed member of our banking community, Jemima. Jemima from Fidelity Bank has joined us. We have a lot of initiatives with Fidelity Bank to go through. So I believe Jemima has joined us over a couple of programs so that we can, she can understand what this forum stands for and obviously help you tailor our product, the banking's product with us. Jemima, you are welcome. We thank you for joining us. We are still waiting for Lawyer JC to join us and continue with the will. In the meantime, in between time, if you have any questions that you want to put on the platform, please, you can either send it to me directly as a private message or put it here so that when we come to question and answers, we've only spent an hour already. As you all know, we have 2-hour session here. So we are not behind anyway. I just hope that the internet will give us opportunity to go through whatever we had intended to. If not, we may have to repeat the topic at some point. But it's not in his hand, it's not in my hand. We are just hoping for a better network provision. At this point, we will be taking a second break. Please get yourself a cup of tea, coffee, water, and come back, and we will be with you soon as we help find out what the situation is on the ground in from the lawyer's point of view. If you have internet and you can stay with us, please feel free to do so. This is the first time we've had to endure a lot of network challenges that we cannot control. Thank you very much.
Tap have said. Oh, and my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With oneness. Baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap tap send got me covered. Therefore, if you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through tap tap send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TapTapSend now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TapTapSend. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other tell the world you channel, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download TapTapSend now on Google Play and App Store. TapTapSend, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Sorry, do we have Lawyer Jesse here? Lawyer, can you hear me? Lawyer, please, can you hear me? You need to unmute yourself. Lawyer, please unmute yourself. I think your line is frozen again. I have received a message from someone who I've not spoken to, but tells me he's also a Ghanaian lawyer based in Scotland. As much as I want to give you a chance to appear, we've not had any initial understanding as to the level of our practice in Ghana and all that. So with all huge respect, I cannot put you on the forum until we do so. But that is not to say that we cannot bring you at another forum or on another occasion. So while we are going through the challenges, there are some questions that has come up. And when the lawyer come, I think we will probably pause and go through the questions that I have so that just in case we continue to have these challenges, we don't lose out on those who have asked those questions.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi, sir. Nana.
I know you are doing your very best, so thank you. Yes, please carry on. And once you are done with Wales, we will go to Q&A, and then if there's any more time, we'll go to probate, if that is okay with you.
I'm not done with the words yet.
Yeah, please, you carry on. Luckily, today we have very good audience.
Hello,
who are
Nana.
very, yeah, please, lawyer, I'm listening. You can carry on.
I'm not done with the words yet. So,
Yes, please. So continue. Thank you.
Okay. All right. So every will, first of all, must have executors. And executors are those who will come and apply for probate upon the reading of to take probate and distribute the properties as contained in the will. So every will must have executors.
I think I'm gradually running out of what to tell you, but I hope you bear with me. I hope you understand. I hope you share my I won't call it frustration because it's not anybody's fault, but you share my dilemma in the circumstances that we are dealing with. This is why when you get a chance to speak and make your voice heard, don't hide it under your pillow. Our country should be in a position where internet should not be a matter of choice for the rich and few. Despite having a law firm and going to, doing all of that, you can imagine the challenges we are going through. So please bear with me. I don't want to speak too much and get myself in trouble. But I'm hoping that our lawyer will return and deliver the topic that he's very passionate and keen to do so. In the meantime, I have questions here that I'm going to go through. Somebody has sent me some questions, which I'll ask the lawyer later. That will hopefully help some of you to start thinking about what you need to ask. Somebody is asking me, what was the case for those who were patrilineal inheritance? You know, Ghana, we have maternal inheritance and paternal inheritance. So the accounts are all maternal, mostly, majority of the accounts. They inherit from mother side. The Evers, the Gadangbe, some of them, some part of North, and others are paternal. There are others too that belong to paternal and maternal. So your mom could come from Western region, your father could come from Volta region. So you are in the middle of two. You can inherit from both sides. Somebody is asking what happened to those situations. And also somebody is saying what happened to someone who is not survived by a child, but married someone who is also dead, but was once married, and there is no one to bequeath, no one to claim direct authority of the will. If that deceased person had not invested on a family building, what happens? That is
sorry,
some of them.
Your question, I didn't get them clear. Your first question is what?
No. I didn't know you were here, but if you are here, I would rather you continue on will so that we can come back to question and answers.
Okay, so the will must be there must be executors, 2 or 3 or more. But when there are more, it becomes problematic. So I would just 2 or 3. These people should be people that they are reliable and dependable. Who is making the will? So imagine that you are 70 years and you are making a will and appointing somebody who is 90 years to be an executor. The presumption of the law is that the older person will die leaving the young one. So if you do it that
We also have another question that says, does the law require DNA to prove lineage to the person? So if somebody bequeaths a property to you or to some various children, do they need a DNA to prove who they are? Welcome back, lawyer. Can you hear me, please? Hello? Another question I have here when he comes back is, if you have not married to a person, but bequeath all your estate to your girlfriend, what happened? Number 4. Somebody is asking me, why is it a public opinion that women must not make a will for a man to survive it? And in absence of same, what happened if you are married to a woman who didn't make a will, but has left properties which you believe you are part of it, and you are not married?
Hello, Nana.
Yes, sir.
Let's continue. The line is really disturbing us.
Yes.
Disturbing
I don't
us.
know.
Let's see how we could utilize it.
Yes.
So I'm saying that it must get executed. They are the one who go to court and apply for probate. So the probate in itself is the power given to an executor after a will has been read to be able to be vested with the power to distribute the properties as contained in the will. And that application or the grant of it is called probate and application for probate. So when the person
The next question I have with me here is, if I receive a will from a father, but had no children, husband or wife, what happened when I die, as it was not my own property? So you can imagine some of the questions that are already coming. Somebody saying, can I include my property in Ghana to my will in UK, or do I need to make a separate one in Ghana? I think I'm going to maybe ask the lawyer to just try and see if you can just use the audio. I think the video too might be, when it comes next.
Hello, Nana.
Yeah, lawyer, please, maybe.
Hello, Nana.
I can hear you. Maybe just use audio. Don't include your video. Maybe that will help the line to be a bit stable. I don't know.
I should put it off, eh?
Put the video off.
Video off.
And
Okay.
see if the audio alone will work.
Okay, I've done that.
Because I think the video takes a lot of data, and it can.
The video is off.
Yeah, we can hear you, and we all know your handsome face, so we can hear your voice.
Okay, the video is off.
Yes, please go ahead.
So we can go on.
Yes, go on. I can hear you, and I'm sure the audience too. This is the bit where I wish I was a lawyer. But then I will be wishing to be a doctor too when I come to next topic. Anyway, so yeah. So questions here that we have.
Okay, then let's continue.
Okay.
Let's continue.
Please go ahead. I'm listening. Audience to our.
Hello, Nana.
I can hear you.
Let's continue.
Yeah, please go ahead.
So now the executors are those who apply for probate, and they will distribute the property. And I said that we have to get very honest people to be your executors, else they will take the property and then they will not vest it, they will not distribute it. So when the person's will is read, they will mention the executors, and the executors will apply to the court for probate. The authority given to executor to have access to the property and distribute is what we mean by probate. So probate is the power given to the executors to distribute the properties as contained in the will. And I've said that the properties must be your own self-acquired property. And the property that is going to be willed out should be described in no uncertain terms. And the beneficiaries, those who are going to enjoy the properties, should be equally described. So if you use your color of your vehicle to say that I give my green vehicle to my wife. You have never said anything. You have to describe the vehicle. The vehicle is described by the registration number, WR 1410-20. You cannot decide to mention the type of vehicle. The important thing is the registration number. In the same way, when you are describing your property, a landed property, a house, you should be able to have the house number or plot number. If there's no house number, there's no plot number, you must be able to describe it with the nearest landmark that, oh, my house, which is close to Presby School at Tanokro, that is the house. And when you're giving it to somebody that you want to give the property to, you must also give all the names and aliases. For example, in every family in Ghana, the commonest name in that family, you may get about 4 of them with that same name. John Mensah, Mary Mensah, Joseph Mensah. Mary Mensah, John Mensah, Joseph Mensah. They are common in every family. So if you want to give a property to John Mensah, who may be many, so you have to add John Mensah, otherwise known as Kobinaibo, alias Kobe, so that hello.
We are listening. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. All right. So that the property, the one who is going to enjoy the property will be known. If you are everywhere in the world, you can know that the testator meant Osumesi, John Mensah alias Kobina alias Kobe, or otherwise known as Igbo. So you give all the aliases. And then when you give the property in the will and certain words are not added to, it makes the will somehow relapse. It will relapse. For example, if you say, I give my vehicle number 021 WR 2010-14 to my wife, Mrs. Akusia Adbena Ando, full stop. And you say the same thing and add absolutely. I give my vehicle number 20 WR 20-14-20 to my wife, Mrs. Akusia Ando, absolutely. These two things are not the same. The first one, without the absolutely, means that when Akusia Ando dies, the property can be returned to my family. But if the word absolutely is added to the device, it means he or she can also devise it under his will or her will. So if you are making a will and you don't involve a lawyer to prepare it, and you think you can do it without any problem, you may be weeping in your grave when certain issues come up. So a will must be prepared by a lawyer, trained lawyer, because certain words will make the will different. It will have different interpretation and opinions and other terms. So that is it. And if you ever have a will and you want to change, you don't open it and insert something of any change. It has to be re-executed or a codicil and another document called a codicil. That is, if you want to add something or change something and you don't want to re-execute the whole will, you can say, my will, which I did sometime in 1970, I'm preparing this to show that paragraph 4 that I said I will give it to Ukua, I am now giving it to Ama. But in Ghana here, unlike your country, where things are done in the right manner, the codicil may be left somewhere. The codicil and the original will must be together. But here you don't have records, proper keeping of records. I know somebody who left behind the codicil, but they did not take the codicil. They only looked at the first will. So the best thing is to re-execute the will anytime you want to revoke or you want to make changes. You can revoke your will or alter your will, but you can never, it will be of no legal effect unless it is separately executed in the same way as that of the will. And anyone who wants to revoke a will cannot just by tearing it or physical destruction. you have to prepare another will to say that I have revoked the will that I earlier made. If you go and destroy that will, the copy is always kept at the registry of the court, of the High Court. So if you have destroyed it, that does not mean that you have revoked your will. That copy will still be there, and that will still be authentic and valid. And then every will must be deposited at the High Court, sealed. How I wish the video will be working. Then I will show. I have a copy of the will. Then I would have shown it to members who wanted to see how it is sealed. So the will must be sealed, and a copy should be kept at the High Court. So the one who made the will keep a copy, and you, the testator, can also get a copy. And then, if you want to be sent to your church pastor, that country is permissible. But I always advise against that, because sometimes the pastor will go and open the will and read it when the person dies, and create confusion. Wills are read only in the court, not any other place. Now, if somebody is working and he finds a will, he didn't know the paper, but that thing is a will, he must immediately deposit it at the nearest court for onward transmission to the High Court. If, whether he knows or not, he leaves it there and is arrested, he will be sanctioned. And it is a serious offense that when you see a will and you do not send it to the court, nearest court, and you throw it somewhere, you'll be arrested, and it has a custodial sentence, which is not pleasant. And another important thing, that when the probate is taken, is read, or the will is read and the probate is taken, and not less than 3 years, the way the properties were distributed under the will cause serious hardship. That person can go to court and have the will changed. For example, the man has one wife with 4 children, and he has 3 buildings. One contains 2 bedrooms and a hall at Kusimiti. One is at Tanaji, contains 3 bedrooms and a hall. And then one at number 3 has about 50 rooms. And the testator decided to give the 50 rooms house to his sister. And then give the 2-bedroom house to the mother. And you, the wife, and the children will occupy 4 bedrooms. You will the wife and the children, because the 60 or 50 bedrooms house could be used to rent and get the money to take care of the children who may be in the secondary school or in the tertiary educational level or in apprenticeship. So this one too, the catchword here is hardship. When the person is less than 18 years, and hardship will be caused as a result of the distribution of the will. When you go to the High Court will set aside the will that you have made and redistribute it to bring that onerous problems out of the equation. Besides that, when you want to change the will, you could equally do deposit it and then take the old one. And I must also say that there must be a residual clause in the will. Residual clause means that today I may have 3 properties whilst I'm making a will. And at the time of marriage, I may have 10. So 7 may not be in the will. So if you don't put in a residual clause, it means that 7 will be taken care of by the intestate succession law. But if a lawyer prepares the will, you put in that residual clause, that thing that the person has which has not been covered under the will is given to so and so. So every will which is prepared by a lawyer must have that clause. If you don't do that, means you may die both testate and intestate. When God gives you more opportunity to get more properties and you don't change the will to reflect the current acquisition, then without any residual clause, it means your will
Welcome back. I believe the lawyer is probably about to round up, and as you can see, we are having network issues. We will take 2 seconds break. When we come back, I'm hoping that you'll be back to round up, and then we can go to Q&A session. Please, at this point, raise your hands using the Zoom icon.
And that is the end of for the will, so that the will and the probate, that is substantially the end of that talk.
Thank you, lawyer. I please keep only your audio on, because it seemed to be much better when you did that. We will take a few minute break and we'll come back. When we come back, we'll go to question and answers, and I have a lot of questions here for you. So give us a few seconds, take a drink, a glass of water, wine, as long as you are able to answer our questions. And audience can take anything they want and come back. We are aiming to finish on the dot, as we promised. So thank you.
Tap said. Oh, my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. With one S. Baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through tap send, and guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download tap send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download tap send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, that's how the world is chilling. Like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
This is our world. Here we are in our community. There are the laws. There are the regulations. We have BWF solicitors. BWF solicitors, experts in all aspects of the law, family law, civil litigation, all immigration and nationality issues, representation in court, marriage and divorce. We pride ourselves to give you excellent legal services and follow through till we get you the right result and decisions. That is our mutual satisfaction. We have a team of excellent qualified solicitors and support team to help you every step of the way. Our senior partner, with over 30 years of unbroken service to the community, is a member of the Family Law Panel and has advised several lawyers and institutions in many legal matters. He is qualified to practice both in the UK and in Ghana. Come to us. Speak to us. Let us represent you. We are your trusted community partners when it comes to the law. Locate us on the 4th floor of the Anna House, 214 to 218 High Road at Seven Sisters in North London, N15 4NP. Nearest train station, Victoria Line to Seven Sisters Station, exit number 2. We are open for all consultations from Monday to Friday, 9:30 AM to 6 PM. Weekends by appointment only. Call us now on 0208 493 7340 or 077 127 61884. BWF Solicitors, your trusted legal partner.
Welcome back. Tonight, we have, with all challenges we've gone through, interstate succession law in Ghana. We've also gone through elements of wills and probate. With all the other challenges, I believe you have stayed true with us, and we can only but apologize for the difficulties we've had. Those who are regular attendees to this forum will know that we haven't had these challenges before. And it's nothing to do with Ghana Union or myself or the lawyer. It is what we call an act of God. We are connected from here to there, so somebody is doing something somewhere. But anyway, we are here now to talk about questions and answers. I know we have asked lawyer to be on only microphone because I think the video is probably taking a lot of energy from the network and it's not making it happen. So you might hear the lawyer's voice if he's still with us here. But at this point, I want you to raise your hands using the Zoom icon. Those who have sent messages, I'll go through it. This is being televised live on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, Omega Live and on Zoom. We are grateful to Tap Tap Send for their support to bring this to the homes of many people who otherwise would not hear this. And of course, to Ghana Union, Western Region Nurses Association, Ghana Nurses UK, and Nightingale Nurses. We are joined to continue to educate the community and the public about things that matters to you and I. One day, these things will become very beneficial to you. And so when we get these people from Ghana, expect who are already on the field and experiencing it every day in the courtroom from local to magistrate to high court to civic court or whatever levels they have. It's important that you've all stayed true to give us the attention we need so that we can get you the information you need. So lawyer Ben Akajisi, thank you, from Candice Law Firm. This man is a very intelligent, very experienced, 32 years on the field of law across Ghana. He doesn't only practice in Western Otakrade, he has 20 and over companies in Ghana who look up to him to defend them. So that tells you that he's not just a wannabe lawyer. A wannabe lawyer is the one that is carrying a briefcase but doesn't have a law profession or law certificate. They are just paralegal people preparing notes to court. But for what we are doing today, I believe that those who want to ask questions, I will give them the first preference so that when they are done, I can bring my own questions. Lawyer, we've got Akos Nyama, whose hand is up. Akos, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Akos, I'm listening. You can hear me. Is Akos still with us? Hello, Akos? I'm not sure where Akos is also from, either Ghana or UK or anywhere. Makes no difference. I live in UK and sometimes I go to my house and I don't get network, so it doesn't matter. What matters is that the network is a challenging evening for us. So I'll go to question and answers. If your lawyer is with me, I want to ask you some questions that has come to me, and then when our coach is ready, we can let her come on.
Okay.
Lawyer, somebody has asked me a question here. What was the case for those who were patrilineal inheritance? So, for example, you were more focused on accounts who belong to the mother side, and the fact that their nephews and cousins will say, "My uncle Ninyoma is my uncle's property." What about those who are from Volta region, some part of the north, the Gans, who belong to patrilineal? Who are by their culture, they inherit paternal. And my father is dead. I have nothing to do with my father's sisters or uncles or aunties. What happens to those people? Because otherwise, I don't know where we stand. Can you elaborate that on, make a bit of clarification? Because from the
Okay.
moment you started, your emphasis was about PNDC law, was about those who were left with nothing at all, and they tend to build a case against the accounts. What
Good.
happens to the other side of the Gadangbes and those who are more
Okay.
patrilineal?
Thank you, Nana. Let me answer that one. The patrilineal system was said that the elderly male child of the deceased person will take the property. And sometimes they take the property, and that property is to be taken in trust for all their children or the serving spouse. But this elderly person will take the property and use it for himself only. So this law is applicable to the whole country, whether patrilineal or matrilineal. But the saddest part was with the matrilineal system. But after the patrilineal, they know that the elderly male child will take the property in trust for the children. But sometimes when he takes it, he doesn't take it in trust. He takes it for himself. So this law has changed everything. Now, whether patrilineal or matrilineal, when the person dies, it is shared according to the law, as I've earlier on indicated to you. So it has no difference between patrilineal and matrilineal. When you die, patrilineally or matrilineally, the elderly child cannot come and say that I am the elderly child, so everything should come to me, as it used to be. But now the children are going to share it equally. 3 over and 9 over 16 is for the children. They are going to share it equally. The rest, 316 for the woman or for the spouse. And then that 1/8 for the parent if they are surviving, 1/8 for the customary law or successor. So this law does not make any difference between patrilineal inheritance or matrilineal inheritance. Whether you are from the patrilineal side or matrilineal side, this law is applicable to you.
Thank you. Thank you, lawyer. That leads me to the next question. What about children born unknown to the family? Do they need what we now call DNA to prove that they are a child of that father who is gone?
Good. Naturally, that is before that time, before this DNA thing, the man might have told somebody who might not be close to the, is because out of fear, out of reverence of the wife, that he could not bring the child home. But he might have told some friend or somebody. So the person will be brought, and more often, when you see the child and the deceased man, you see that indeed there is no question to say that this child is not that of the man. But now, the only thing that will prove the whole thing is the DNA. So if somebody has any doubt about it, that's the only way out. The DNA can be sorted.
So granted that that child resembles somebody who is dead, does it qualify the child to come up and say, I am a son to this man? I mean, that is not how we justify it, does it?
For you know, Nana, the man was alive, was dishing out some money through somebody to reach the child. And that is why the child gets to know that man who has died is my father. So somebody might have told the child that this is your father.
Right.
Or the child might have been told by the father himself, I want to take care of you outside my immediate family in the house. So whatever you need, I'll do it. Some people do it that way. But if the person dies and that person who is being taken care of by the father doing it, I call it Nicodemously, he must show up so that he can be a beneficiary under the law. The same percentage that the children who lives the man in the matrimonial home, the same percentage will be the same, will be for the child who might not be living with the man, or the man might not publicly show that that child is his. So somebody else should, something triggers this issue for it to come to fore.
Okay.
And if there's any doubt, the only thing is the DNA.
My other question before I go to those two hands up, Cynthia and Joseph. If you have not married to a person, but you bequeath all your estate to that person, girlfriend, what happens then? Does the family have a right to say, because you were not married, we will not accept the will in principle?
Very good. That's a very good question. Will is called a will. Will is called will. You know better. Over there in your country, the properties are willed to dogs and pets, if I should read the word pets. Properties are willed to pets. And that is why those of us here in Ghana or in the developing countries, when there is a calamity or there's a serious issue relating to natural disasters, they get some relief items from your country, from Europe or other places. Because you can decide to will your property to any person you want. So if that person is not a married person, but you decide to give everything to that person, well and good. Provided, as I've stated to you, that if the man has a child and the child is under 18 years and the child is undergoing education or apprenticeship and giving everything to that person without reference to the child can go to court within 3 years to have the court redistribute the property so that that hardship that will inure to him will be abated. So if there's nothing like that, you can will your property to anybody you wish.
So
and
lawyer,
in Ghana,
that you are prompting me here. If a man has willed something to their girlfriend, side chick, whatever the term they will call it, he didn't know there was an existing child with anybody. And he's dead and he's gone. He's giving the will to a woman or any girlfriend. Now, upon his death, somebody turns up and say, I am his son. And the person now want to claim part of the estate. What happens? How do you prove,
if the person is above 18,
how do you prove that the man is the legal father of the child, that child, so-called child, claiming ownership? You know, in Ghana news headlines, we have heard heads of state and dignified people, when they die, that's when people pop up. So I don't want to go into anything. All I'm just saying is, if that happens, what happens?
If that happens, the DNA that you earlier on said will have to be applicable. And if the person is above 18 years and there's no hardship that is going to inure to him, finito. I said the catchword in the Constitution, in the West Act, is hardship will inure to the person. So if the person has something of his own and nothing like hardship will occur to that person, and the person is above 18 years, the door is shut.
I see.
That side chick or whoever will take the property.
Right. So if that side chick doesn't have any children and she also dies, what happened to the property? It
goes to her immediate family. Oh. That is the extended family.
So if you have a side chick, make sure. Anyway. Make sure you put the statement right. Joseph Kwanzaa, please. Joseph Kwanzaa, unmute yourself so that.
Thank you, Nana, and thank you, lawyer. As some of us do have properties here, and then we also have some in Ghana. Can we do one will to cover all, both, or
certainly so? Certainly, so the one will cover it. The one will cover it. You mentioned the properties here in Ghana and the properties abroad. So the executors, upon giving the probate, will use that probate to distribute that property as you stated over there in abroad. So you don't need to execute two wills. One will can cover every property situated any part of the world.
Okay, so lawyer, that leads me to Mr. This man's question. If the man has made the will that covers properties in Ghana, has not mentioned anything in UK, then what happens?
If there's no residual clause, it means that one in UK will be covered by PNC law 111. But if there's a residual clause, then the beneficiaries of the residual clause will be the one who are entitled to those properties.
Yeah, but lawyer, PNDC law is applicable in Ghana. It's not applicable to UK. So if the man was living here, he has a partner or girlfriend who is not a Ghanaian and has no interest in Ghana, but he's made a will in Ghana that covers everything else in Ghana, but left those ones here. How do you square the circle?
I am saying that a good lawyer will prepare a will with a residual clause.
Right.
Meaning that properties that are not mentioned in the will be covered by the beneficiaries due them as a result of the residual clause.
Right.
But if there's no residual clause and the properties are in United States or in United Kingdom,
okay,
the law of the person, the domicile, the law of domicile will apply, and is a Ghanaian, and the Ghanaian law will be used based upon the administration. When the person died without with a probate, the executors will write to whoever is in charge of that property that by the residual clause of Kwesi, that property is for Amma and Nakusia as contained in the will. That's it.
Before
so
I
the
go
residual is very necessary.
Okay.
To take care of all other properties that are not mentioned in the will.
So, in your experience, lawyer, why do you think it is a common principle that men must die and leave wills to women and children and not the other way around?
That's what the Bible says, though. So a good man leaves inheritance for his children to them. Proverbs 13:22. So that is the presumption. But women, in my career, my 32 years career, I've seen some few women who also prepare their will. But interestingly, they don't take care of, when they are dividing their property, they don't factor in their husband at all. And the last one I did was less than 1 year ago. And that man is a prominent man in Takoradi. And the woman, and I asked the woman, so we never mentioned anything for, you never give anything for your husband. He said, oh, also on a day, he also has his own. Women are intrinsically and incurably selfish regarding properties, including my wife, my mother, and every woman born of Eve. So most women do not give anything to their husband. The only interest is of their children and perhaps their sisters and other extended family members. But it is wrong. If men can do a will and leave the woman and it becomes a furore or there's a hullabaloo about it, equally the woman too should do the will. Make sure that men has it. Under the PNC law 111, everything, the household charters, including the women's clothing, is for the husband and the children. So there's one musician who said that you can use the kaba to you can make sure that the kaba is untied and you use it for a jumper. So it is mutual. That's it.
Thank you.
But women make Many women also make wills.
Thank you. Cynthia Jama Poku, please.
Okay, good afternoon. I don't know whether that is clear.
It's clear. I can hear you.
Okay, I'm tuning in from Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston.
There is, yes. Thank you very much for organizing such programs. Usually, I'm always present here.
Oh,
whenever
you.
I get the email alert. There's a man in my hometown who filed for his daughter. Unfortunately, the DNA failed. So the daughter could not join him here. But the man claimed, that's my daughter. He did not denounce the girl or say, I don't want you as a daughter. But the daughter was still in his house. Now he willed some of his property to the daughter. But the man is dead, and the family is saying they are not going to give the property to the girl because that's not their brother's daughter. Are they right to do that? And then if no, how can the girl, what processes can she do to claim those things back? I don't know whether this question has been answered because I was on and off. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mami Cynthia. Thank you. I'm glad that you are joining from Boston, United States. Thank you. And we have people joining from around the world, Italy, Germany, France, and all the other. Thank you. So, lawyer, this man has bequeathed, he's got a daughter or son who turned out to be not a DNA match. And the family are throwing them out or somehow. And the man, throughout his life, before he died, never said, because of DNA, you are no longer. He stood and still did what he did. What happens?
What the family members are doing is patently wrong in the eyes of the law. So the lady can go to court to have a declaration that the will of the father should be validated for her to get a portion. After all, somebody can do a will and give it to somebody who is not related to that person in any way. That is why I said a will. You can say to give it to some, in the family we say Nanabin. So the fact that the DNA failed does not, and the man did not reject the child, meant that the will cannot be invalidated because of the fact that the DNA failed. As long as the will was not done under duress, or there were no any vitiating factors that makes something invalid under the eyes of the law, the will stands. So the lady can go to court and ask the court to declare and get the properties that the father did bequeath to her in the will. So whatever the parent, the relatives of the father have been doing is wrong, very wrong. Because you can give your will to somebody you don't even relate to, you don't know. You can give it to charitable institutions. So after all, the person has been declared by the DNA that he's not a child. Yet the man has not rejected the person. What is your beef? You're not the one who. That is why it is good to do a will. If there's no vitiating factor, you can do a will and give your property to somebody that you're not even related to. But here in Ghana, I always ask that if you are going to do that, give an explanation in your will to say that I did not give this to my son, my daughter, my brother, and I've given it to somebody else because that person served me, respected me, honored me, he listened to me, and all those things. We have to put the reasons in the will.
Right. It's very important.
So what the father's relatives are doing is wrong.
Okay, there was somebody's hands. Joseph Kwanzaa, do you still have your case to call? Joseph Kwanzaa, I'm happy to let you speak. I saw your hands up. You can unmute yourself. Is Joseph Kwanzaa with me? If not, I know we were late in starting and most of you stayed with us. I'll go to the chat room and go through one or two questions, those that are not already answered. So somebody's saying, if a will is signed and witnessed by executors without a lawyer involved, would that be legal document? Should a will be drawn by? Should the will be drawn? Would that be legal? Should the will be drawn by a lawyer at all times? Lawyer.
Okay. You answer? Must I answer?
Yes, please.
Yes. Provided it goes according to the laws and the act number 360, 1971. If it does not contravene it and it goes under, it is in conformity with the act, well and good. What I was saying that if it is not done by a lawyer, there may be problems, is what we usually call magic words. I give my house to my daughter, Akusia Mrikua, absolutely. I give my house to my daughter, Akusia, full stop. If Akusia dies, the house can revert. But if I added absolutely, so Akusia, that thing cannot be taken away from Akusia even if she dies. This thing might not be known by an ordinary person who is not educated in law. And this residual clause, for example, may also not be indicated by the testator, the one who is making the will. But by and large, many people can decide to write their own will, but the end results a lot of legal battles. But if you are able to go according to the Act 360, 1971, well and good. It should be typewritten. And even if it is going to be written, there should be no alteration in it. And two witnesses should sign the will in the presence of the testator. They are not supposed to read what the person said, but they are witnessing that they were present when the will was executed by the testator. Finished. It's conform to the law. But it would have been better if a lawyer prepares it. That's it. And I can't hear you.
My apologies. Sorry. If I receive a will from my father, but had no child, no husband, no wife, can I give that will on my death to my girlfriend, or it goes back to my father's family? How is that scenario?
You see, trying to devise a property, give a property to somebody. So if the person has named you as the beneficiary of a property, that means your father's will is that you are to take his vehicle number WR 1410-40. Mm-hmm. That's it. It becomes your property, right, if property is taken. So if you decide not to marry or whatever and you die, that property will be sorted out by the immediate family of you, the one who did not have child, wife, anything. It goes to the resident family.
Okay,
that's
so
it.
The father's family who gave you the property cannot come back and say, oh, what the one worry, one yeshi. Back.
No, the will is somebody gave it to you, and that somebody gave it to you because he did it.
Lawyer,
so
lawyer, sorry,
yes.
Please forgive me. I'm sorry to interrupt. Provided the father built the building on the family property, on the family land.
That one you can't. If the property is not self-acquired, you can't make it your will.
Yeah, but now he's made it. He didn't know that the father didn't buy the land. So what happens?
It will set aside. the family members will take it.
Okay.
The family members will take it. That is why it is good to build on your own self-acquired land. If you build on a family land, you can't will it out.
Right.
If you will it out, the family members will rise against, because that property on which that the land on which that property is situated is not yours.
But the father,
so as for that one, straight ahead,
the father too is a member of the family too. So he's also entitled to the part of the land that their family are claiming for.
Yes.
Lawyer,
as long as the father lives.
Sorry. I am a member of a family. We have a family land. I've built my house on a piece of a family land, which I believe I belong to the family, and that land, part of it, is mine. If I bequeath it to my son who didn't get married or whatever, and bequeath it as well to his girlfriend, why should my family come after my son's estate? Please.
Number one, let me explain it to you. Number one, you can't build on a family land and think that the land is yours. Okay. The property is yours. You only have life interest as long as you live on the land or you live in the house. But immediately you die, the family will come back for the land and the house. So if you want that land that you built on the family to be given to you, you have to make a formal request to your Busuapeni, and then the Busuapeni will, in consultation with the family, will say that we have agreed that this portion of land has been given to you absolutely. Then you also perform what we call asida, that now that you have given me this land, I also perform asida by giving you 1 bottle of snap, 10,000, that as a sign of acceptance. And that one become a gift. So it will be deemed as if you have bought the land. So that one you can give it to anybody you want. But if there's nothing like that, the property still has family character, and the family will come for it. That's your demise.
Thank you, lawyer. I've got Paul Mensah on, but
so the family will come and tell the girlfriend, hey, come back.
Thank you, lawyer. I've got Paul Mensah whose hands is up. But before Paul Mensah, I want to read one chat room message. If there is a suspicion that a wife may have been involved in the death of the husband, can a will be challenged?
Good. Number one, a will can only be challenged when certain conditions are prevalent. One, the will was done under duress. The wife might have forced, if you don't do a will and give this thing to me, I'm going to do something that will be inimical to your health, or I may kill you. That one is a vitiating factor. Two, a will that somebody prepared it and the signature was forged, it will be challenged. And the third one is that when the person was making the will, he was seriously mentally impaired. He was not of sound mind to be able to do a will. So such a will be challenged. Number four, when the will is not covering his own properties, but properties of others, including the family, it will be challenged. But if the suspicion that it is the woman who had killed the man, it has nothing to do with the will. That thing has nothing to do with the will. The suspicion is a criminal offense. You have to report to the police for them to do the investigation. So these conditions that I've enumerated are the conditions that will be subject to attack by way of a will. So if the suspicion of death of the husband by the woman has nothing to do with the will.
Okay.
The signature was not the man's signature. The property that he was devising was not his own self-acquired property. The man was not mentally sound, was not capable to understand what he was doing. and the will was done under duress. These are the conditions that can set aside the will.
Okay, so we've got Paul Mensah, please. I know one Paul Mensah, who is a Dr. Paul Mensah from Adesada College. Is he the one?
I'm the same one. I'm the same one.
Oh, doctor. So as you are here, the next forum will be on you to give us a health topic.
Okay, so I wanted a bit of lawyer. I've really enjoyed your presentation. It's been very helpful. But my question was to do with so a man dies intestate and he has only one property and he has other assets. But in terms of a building, he has a house. Okay, he has a house, but he has cars, he has money in the bank, he has everything. Did you say that the law says that house must, because it's the only house, it must go to the wife? Is that what you said? Thank you.
Dr. Paul Mensah, thank you. Lawyer, if a man dies with only one house, intestate, I believe my brother said, did you say that that house must only go to the wife? Lawyer JC, are you still with us? Okay. It's quite interesting, but I believe we are having challenges again. It's been okay for the past 45 minutes, 30 minutes or so. Up until my brother, my big brother, Paul Mensah, asked a question and the whole system jammed. Do we have lawyer on? Please, those on the behind the scene. Paul and Linda, do we have lawyer back on?
Oh, I'm on, but Nana, I didn't get a question because of the hitch.
Right. Dr. Paul Mensah, my revered senior, please, can you come back and ask your question again? Because I don't want to misinterpret you. Dr. Mensah, are you with us? Hello, Dr. Mensah. Okay, lawyer, my revered doctor is not here, but I believe what he was.
I'm here.
Okay, please go ahead. Please, I don't want to misinterpret you, so I want you to ask the question again because
that's true. Because this is a real life situation involving a relative. So he has just one property, which is a land with a 5-bedroom house on it, and that's the only, if you like, landed property that he has. But he has other things, money in the bank and cars and all sorts of things, but not a house. Now, did you say that because he died intestate, that house must go to the wife
and children?
And children, because yeah. Okay.
Yes, that's the position of the law. One is for the surviving spouse and the children. But the other properties, if the vehicles are not for commercial purposes, but they are for private, it's also for the surviving spouse and children, no matter how many they are. But if there are commercial ones in, then it is going to be distributed according to the formula indicated earlier. The money in the bank is also going to be distributed according to the formula 916 for the children, 316 for the surviving spouse, 18 for the surviving parents, 18 for the customary successor. If there's no parent, 1/4 for the customary successor.
I don't know if my brother, lawyer Mensah, understood, but In absence of same, I will assume that he's okay with the answer. Lawyer, you see, can I ask you this
Yes, sir.
question?
Go ahead.
What happens if someone who is not survived by a child, but married to someone who is also dead, but was once married and bequeathed, the man bequeathed his estate to that one who was dead? What happens?
Is it under the will or that intestate?
Yes, so you
We are
marry
doing
somebody, you marry somebody, you live with a person, you never had a child, the woman sadly passes before you, you then die and leave your estate to the woman who has passed on before you. What happens?
When the person died intestate or with the will?
Either way, if you can elaborate. Let's say, for instance, intestate. He married this woman, they were together, the woman suddenly died, and then he has already made his will before the woman died, but never changed it before he died. And there's no children. There's no children.
What is in the will will be carried. What is in the will be carried. But if the person has no will, then the person had died intestate. So that new person or that woman will be entitled to the 1/2 of the property because there's no child. Then the remaining half will go to the surviving parents, if any, and then the customer successor.
Okay. Well, audience, tonight has been an interesting episode, albeit with challenges. And I believe you would agree that our professional expert has made every effort within his power to be with us. He has logged in and out, and he has something that has no control over. Lawyer, do you have any final comments or remarks to give to those of us who are not in Ghana and come to Ghana once in 3 or 4 years, and we come and criticize and we come back for another 4 years? Or do you have any remarks for those who are constantly in Ghana but never want to think about will? Because our culture frowns on will. The moment you talk about will, they think you are going to die.
Yeah, correct.
So do you have any remarks for us, please?
My advice is that the way people are suffering over there in white man's land, those over here do not acknowledge that. So it will be very preposterous for somebody like you hustling over there, having properties, and then you just leave it without any will. When you are suffering with your wife there and your properties are here, your family members will come in. Even before your wife will get control over the property, he has to go to court. But if you, even the Peninsula one, people still don't have an idea that that is the position of the Lord. They still have those archaic beliefs. So I think the best is to do your will. Look, as for that, it will come. Nobody knows. But it is good for a man to live a will than to die intestate. For all you know, you will be hustling there and you will be bringing money to a particular person and you'll be insulting you while the money is coming and you'll be blowing the money. And such a person, after insulting you without a will, he will still come and enjoy your property. And you can see on other buchuana, Nala Obupa Oshe, you see, you are planning to help them down here because you don't want to live a certain type of lifestyle. And then you do all the sacrifices and your relatives here will come and insult you and they will come and enjoy your property. When ordinarily, if you wanted to give the property out, you will not mention that person's name. So the best thing is that you make a will. Because the Bible says, the prudent man, a good man, leaves an inheritance for his children's children. So if you are living there and you are having properties here, how long do you even come and stay in the house, the very house that we have built here in Ghana? Maximum 1 month, you go back. And you do not leave any will. It means your toil will be in vain. And if you continue to live your life like that and you think that you want to do your properties and leave it for any other person to enjoy, so be it. Some people are like that. That might be their capabilities. But I would suggest that every person must live behind the wheel.
Lawyer, thank you so much. But before I finally give my final thanks, there's one hand up, and I believe that there's another one hand up and one question on chat room which I am minded to ask you. Somebody is saying, if you have a joint account and your husband has child outside without your knowledge, can the wife oppose the will if the husband has bequeathed a huge sum of amount in the joint account to a child she did not know of?
Number one, as I said earlier on, the account is not yours. So you can only give your part of the money standing in the joint names. You can't say my account with Lloyd's Bank, which is jointly owned by me and my wife, I give it to my son. No, it's wrong. The will be invalidated. You only say that I give my portion of the money standing in the joint account. And when you say portion, the law presumes equality. Whether your money is more than the wife or the wife's money is more than yours, it is presumed that it should be shared equally. So even for you to even say that I give that money to my wife, my son who is not known by, it's wrong. The whole thing will be set aside because the account is not yours only. So you only have to give a provision that my money standing in Lloyd's Bank with my wife, I give my portion to so and so. That one will be validated. But if you say the account at Lloyd's Bank, my joint account at Lloyd's Bank, I give it to my son, wrong. Wrong.
Right.
Patently wrong.
Okay.
It will be set aside by the courts.
Thank you. On that note, thank you so much, Lawyer Ben Akajisi from Candice Law's firm. Those of you who are conversant with Takrady, Western Region, Candice Law Firm is at the Market Circle. You ask for Candice Pharmacy, is on top of the pharmacy. And this man we have just heard is the chief executive and, of course, a practitioner there who has held it from 1997, I believe. So tonight, we have listened to Law of Ghana, Interstate. Those of us who are here working so hard, building houses, and not even sure what to do with it when we are not there. Please, the reason why we do this forum is not because we have nothing to do, but because we want to encourage you to do the right thing. Nobody knows tomorrow. Tonight, we have listened to Lawyer Ben Akajisi. I will engage with Lawyer BJC and his team around him so that we can bring you information that matters to you in Ghana. Lawyer JC is an expert in law. He has practiced for 32 solid years, probably longer than some of us on this platform our age, except those who are beyond us. So he knows what he's talking about. Let us be mindful of what we leave behind and who we leave it for and where we actually, in the first place, put our properties so that when we are not there, it doesn't become contestable. I'm grateful to Tap Send for sponsoring this evening. I'm grateful to Ghana Higher Commission for endorsing it. And of course, my greatest joy is to have all my audience who are loyal to Ghana Union, Ghana Nurses Association, Nightingale Nurses, who have tuned in every other week to listen to us. I'm also grateful to Paul and Linda from Access Media for helping me put this program to all of you at the comfort of your home. Tonight, it has been an interesting topic, albeit with uncontrollable challenges. But I believe Lawyer Ben Akajisi has done his best to keep faith with you. And I'm sure somebody has put on the forum that we must repeat this again. So I'll be liaising with Lawyer so we can have another time to go through any other areas of law that he believed diasporans. He's a man of diaspora. He comes and goes. He's all over the world. And so he understands how we feel, those of us here. Some of us are building ghost houses we never live in before we die, and then we go and they lay us in state, and then he looks so beautiful that he lived once. And that's it. So let's be mindful of what we do when we are here and what it implies to our children here and back home. On that note, I wish all of you a lovely weekend. Please enjoy yourself. Be with the family when you can. And of course, extend love to those you are not with, wherever you are. God bless you. A good night. And I will meet you in 2 weeks' time. I'm considering a topic on health. I'm also considering a topic on investment and banking in Ghana. And in due course, within the flyers, as you see, I'll be in touch. When you get it, send it to a friend and encourage them to listen to us, because it's all about empowering you to make the best decisions. Tonight, it's been Nana Kwesi of Ahanta Traditional Council. Good night. Have a good weekend. God bless you.
Tap said. Oh, I was my baby, you're from Calabos. The only boss. Wait, one is baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. Tap send got me covered. If you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through tap send, and guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download tap send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download tap send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other time I would be chilling, like my view, hey, you crazy.
Download Tap Send now on Google Play and App Store. Tap Send. It's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.